Alright, I wanted to give a quick overview of the new Raptor E700, their newest 700 sized electric machine. Very lightweight, very economical. They've made spare parts pricing very attractive, and I think they're really aggressively going after some market share with this one. So far it's had some very good success and very positive reviews. Blades, doesn't come with any main blades. I've put some Edge 693 SE flybarless blades on there, and on the tail it comes with some 105s, but I've chosen to put some Edge 115s on there. 105s don't really do justice to this machine unless you're running crazy high head speed, but at the 2000 and lower mark, I definitely recommend putting some 115s on there. The tail box, you can see it comes with some helical cut gears. They're very precise, no slop there. I've got about 20 flights on this already. No slop. You can see they run very smooth. The drivetrain in general, it's a torque tube. Very efficient drivetrain. What I'll show you here is just by lightly touching the tail blades. You can see I can move the main blades there, no problem. It's very free running system, and it'll auto forever. Up front, Herringbone drive gear. Herringbone made popular by Mikado in their logo, starting with the logo 500, logo 600 design. Very smooth running, doesn't exert any side loads or axial loads like a normal slant gear would. Normal slant gear, when it transfers power on the slant, tends to put some axial load and contributes to some gear distortion, bending, and an axial load down the shaft. Whereas a herringbone gear, the two angles sort of cancel that out, and it's a very high-end system, very much more complex to manufacture, but I think this gear sells for around 10 or 11 bucks as a replacement part, very cheap still. The servos, you can see they've gone with a conventional bell crank type system instead of a direct to swash that a lot of the electric helis have been using these days. This is, some would say, old school. Thunder Tiger prefers it this way. I know the Elise or Alias Rush machine also has bell cranks. A lot of machines are going back to bell crank. It gives you a very linear travel on the servo, and geometrically it is actually superior to direct swash. Also puts a lot less load onto the servo, and you're very unlikely to strip gears on a cyclic servo in a crash, as there's two rods that take the force and can pop off or bend or break. Another real cool setup feature this has, first off, they include a nice driver. This is a Torx driver, and all of the hardware on here, I was actually very impressed with the hardware. It's very high grade, but you can see how well that driver fits in there. I can let go and it holds in. It's the hardware is almost unstrippable. And anyway, what I wanted to show you, with a couple of hex drivers, you can insert, you'll notice the elevator arm here. It's got the anti-rotation bracket built into the elevator arm. No need for both. Goes down to a lever, and by inserting this hex driver, or actually in this case it was a Torx driver, into the hole, goes through. You can see what I've done there. Driver goes through everything and locks the elevator in place. Up front, the same thing. If I put a driver through, find the holes there. Okay, and I put that through. So you can see I've got two hex drivers through. Right now, you'll notice the swash plate. Okay, you don't need a leveler. You don't need a swash leveler. You don't need to find zero pitch. This is it. The swash is now in reference position. You can tell the washout arms up top are parallel to each other. It's done. It's basically ready in your flybarless system at this point, where you go and set up your zero pitch, step G and B stacks, or in V-bar at the swash leveling phase. You basically unscrew the servo horns. You don't have to use any sub trim to get Normally you would want to get your servo horns at 90 degrees. You don't have to do that here. It comes with these really nice clamps that there's an inner ring that goes onto the spline, and then the outer piece clamps onto that inner ring. So you leave this screw right there up top, you leave that screw loose, and this can pivot freely. So when the servo is in whatever position it's in, when you go to set up these at 0, it's free. You let this go where it's going to be, you tighten down that screw right up top, and it clamps. 0 sub trim, mechanically perfect. Another thing that's real nice about this heli, it's got a nice battery tray down below. So from the back, you'll see where it clamps on. Right here, goes up, clicks on. You can remove this either from behind, back here, or from the front. I'll just pull it back, make sure this is unplugged. So I'll just pull it out from behind, and you can see it's just a plastic tray with comes with 4 Velcro straps. I'm running a Gens Ace 5000 milliamp 12S stick pack, and you can get extras of these. So very convenient for loading from the back or from the front. I'm also running a YGE 160 ESC on here. Definitely don't need 160, I just had it. 120 is more than enough. I'm running a full-size V-bar and running the Nick Maxwell edition Scorpion motor that they sort of made for this heli. A 45-25 or a 45 canned Scorpion will not fit. You'd have to go down to a 40-35 or an Align 700 MX, something in that category. It's got some very narrow frames. Very nice heli, and very smooth. Able to get easily 6 minutes running around 1900, 1950. I'd recommend it if your flight style is smooth, and if you're anywhere between beginner and pro, this heli is for you. Thanks.